I want to welcome you all to our online Doctor of Education in Applied Learning Sciences information session. We are going to cover a lot of content and ultimately hope this will help you determine if our program is going to be a good fit for you. My name is Elisa Milan. I am an enrollment advisor here at the University of Miami online division. If you should decide to apply to the Doctor of Education Applied Learning Sciences program, one of our enrollment advisors, including myself, will help you throughout the application process to ensure your application is complete before submission. We have a lot to cover tonight and hope that you will find this information useful. Before we get started, there will be a few housekeeping items. We understand your time is valuable and we want to be courteous of that. This session will be about 45 minutes. If for any reason you head out or if you're coming in late, do not worry. You're going to be getting this recording of this session. It will be emailed to you later this week. Tonight, you will hear from faculty within the program as well as alumni. We want to make sure that this session is specifically geared for you. So if there's a specific question that you have for these panelists, you will see a Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Please feel free to utilize it. If you have any specific questions with regards to application items or financial aid, be sure to connect with one of our enrollment advisors to make sure those questions are answered for you. They will be looking forward to speaking to you. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Just to go over the program at a first glance, it will be 15 courses. Each course is 7 weeks, so it's a 7 weeks asynchronous course. So 7 weeks, 1 week off, and then you'll continue on to the next 7 weeks. It will take 2.5 years to complete. The GRE is waived for eligible applicants, and you will have 1 cumulative project. I would like to introduce our faculty and alumni panelists, and then we'll be hearing a little bit about each one of them. For our faculty, we have Dr. An and Dr. Khan. For our alumni panelists, we have Dr. Brian Garcia and Dr. Don Alger. Let's start with Dr. An. Can you tell us a little bit about your role within the University of Miami?
Sure. Hi, everybody, and I wish you guys had a great day. And I'm Suyan An. I am professor and I am the vice dean of the School of Education and Human Development. You know, sometimes I am borrowed by Apple's EdD program, and I was chairing capstone projects for the last 2 years with great people. And I also taught the classes for quantitative methods. So nice to meet you guys and wish you guys can come and meet with all of us.
Thank you, An. And Dr. Khan, can you tell us a little bit about your role within the University of Miami?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Khan. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Teaching and Learning. I'm also one of the core program faculty for the Applied Learning Sciences. And so what that means is not only do I teach courses and chair capstone projects and advise those, I also am part of overseeing the development and management and improvement of our program with a small group of other faculty from the Department of Teaching and Learning.
Okay, and Dr. Garcia, if you can introduce yourself and maybe answer why you chose the University of Miami.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brian Garcia. You can hear me okay? Okay. So I just recently graduated. I was part of cohort 7. So I literally just finished up the program, and that picture was just taken about a month ago, or a couple months ago. But what drew me to this program was kind of the versatility of the courses and seeing the different kind of realms of education that we were able to tap into with the courses, which it was very cool program. I did a little bit of everything. You'll get an all-encompassing understanding of education and how to implement learning environments. So I really enjoyed my time, and my capstone was on promoting critical thinking through the use of board games. So had a lot of fun running that program with my high schoolers. So, but excited to be here and to share some information about the program with you all.
Thank you. And Dr. Don Alger, same question for you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you chose the University of Miami.
Sure. So I'm a member of a religious teaching order, the De La Salle Christian Brothers. And I think there's a La Salle or La Salle somewhere in Miami. For many, many years, the life of a Christian brother is to teach high school. But then I had an opportunity to come to La Salle University, where I presently work, in the chemistry department, because a faculty member went on a maternity leave and decided not to come back. But anyway, as one might know, or one might guess, to continue teaching at a university, one needs a terminal degree. And so, also considering my age when I joined, I chose University of Miami because of, well, I know it sounds like a shallow reason, but I'll talk about it later. The time of completion is 2.5 years, and I started at age 54. I was a member of the class of 2019, so we were the first cohort to graduate in 2021. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're just going to get some questions answered from our faculty as well as our alumni, get to know the program a bit more. I would like to start with Dr. Khan. Can you tell us how is the curriculum designed to help students succeed in real-world scenarios? What are some of the key skills and learnings that this program focuses on?
Sure, yeah. So our program is called the Applied Learning Sciences for that very reason. We want students taking what they're learned and applying it as they go through the program. And so the program overall is designed to introduce students to theories of learning or perspectives on learning that they can then use to inform the design of learning environments. And those learning environments are all types of scenarios, so that whether it's in a traditional classroom, like in a high school, or we're talking higher education, or it's actually in a company, an organization, and you're thinking about how your employees learn, or in a civil organization such as military or police, whatever it may be. Our programs is intended to help the students think about how to design for learning in their specific context. And so the courses, that's kind of the key, and how to assess learning once they've designed a learning experience as well. So that's kind of the key goal, the through line or the overarching goal of the program. So everything is really applied, for the most part, is really applied in nature. You're asked in your courses time and time again to design projects and implement them and eventually it becomes a little bit larger scale for your final capstone project, which we'll get to. But any kinds of perspectives, or if we're asking students to look at research or something like that, it's all with intention of having students apply and take what they're learning into their specific context. And yeah, so that's what I would say. That the other you talk about skills that students maybe develop as well in our program. A lot of our work is group-based, and that's based on research on team science, and that working in teams, working in groups, that is beneficial for learners and can lead to, for instance, better solutions to challenges and better outcomes. And so that's something that students also get experience with, is working in collaboration with others as part of this program, as a key skill.
Okay, and just to kind of piggyback off of that, how does earning the Doctorate of Education set our students apart in the current job market, and what does this degree mean to future employers?
Sure. So I think the science of learning is kind of hot right now, and what our program does is our faculty are staying up to date with research on the science of learning, and that's really an interdisciplinary field to think about how people learn, and across contexts and across the lifespan. And so I would say that what perhaps sets this program apart, this is my perspective, from maybe another program that doesn't take a science of learning or learning sciences approach, is the emphasis on learning. And so this is a little shift for those who are coming from maybe traditional education backgrounds who think about pedagogy. In our program, we're really shifting the focus to the learner's experience. It doesn't mean that we don't think about teaching. We all think a lot about instruction and teaching, but we're doing it from the perspective and framing of what is the learner's experience, or what is the learning environment like. And I think that's a really flexible approach that someone can take into so many different environments, whether they're working in education technology, or like recently we've had I think we have a fire chief enrolled in our program, and we've had several people who come from nonprofit organizations or corporate organizations. And so that I think kind of sets our candidates apart. Yeah, so I think that's what I would say. I mean, the other thing I would just mention a lot, I mean, maybe you're going to ask about this, but we have students, the diversity of backgrounds of our students, and the cohort model, which brings that diverse student body together, really creates a supportive learning environment, and the students can speak to their experience of this. But from what I've seen, it's another positive, the diverse backgrounds of our students of the program. And it strengthens, I think, students' own individual learning experiences to be introduced to people who have these different kinds of perspectives on learning and education.
So now that you've brought that up, I would like to ask Dr. Alger and Dr. Garcia, can you talk about your interaction with faculty throughout the program? What level of engagement did you experience with them?
Brian, would you like to start? Okay, well, first, if you decide to enroll, I would very much encourage that you come to the on-campus orientation. You get to meet some of the faculty there, because most of the program, as you know, is online. It's a great opportunity to meet them and get to know them as people. And they really kind of establish from the get-go that they would like to be your peers, to be able to call you doctor, and your peers, you know, you become less of a student over time. But anyway, in terms of what is the word that you used again, Alyssa?
Which one?
Engagement. Okay, I got it.
Engagement, yes.
Engagement, yes.
Engagement.
So, because I enjoyed that first in-person meeting, now not all of the professors were there, but the example that those professors who were present gave made me believe, and it was actually proven, that each of the professors you had over the several courses really had your back. They really are there batting for your success. So yes, you're their student, but they're also, they want your success, and that just felt so good. Dr. An, Dr. Khan, they're heroes to me.
And Brian?
So the question was regarding accessibility to faculty and just communicating with faculty.
Yes, your interaction with the faculty throughout the program and the engagement you experienced with them, or even
Gotcha.
your fellow classmates, alumni.
Yeah, I mean, it was an awesome experience. Obviously, it's an online program, but the accessibility, I mean, the professors were great as far as responding to emails relatively quickly. But more than anything, I think like Dr. Alger said, like, they're very supportive. A lot of the professors are very professional in the way that they treat the students. You know, they know that we are working adults. They kind of they've established with us that we learn from you as well. And because, as you said, there's such a diversity of backgrounds. I know, like, I'm an educator, and although this is a Doctor of Education program, there were so many different people from different backgrounds that I learned so much from. Very interesting. I had a fellow colleague who was in charge of running like the women's PGA, and she was a director, and it was so cool to hear like her background, and and how she taught, you know, her students how to run the programs, and just a very diverse the students. But the professors, I really appreciated the understanding that they had. You know, again, sometimes we get really bogged down, and if we need a little extra help, you know, obviously taking things into consideration and just communicating and being open with them, they were always willing to lend a helping hand, point you in the right direction, or, you know, just helping out in general, which was awesome. As a student, you never really felt like any professors were out to get you, or like, you know, make things really challenging or hard, like to get you to fail. Like, it wasn't that environment at all. They're all cheering for you, all rooting for you, and they want you to succeed, which is great.
Great. And for Dr. An, we were talking about, you know, the networking, and of such. University of Miami has a far-reaching alumni network and an impressive reputation as a leader in higher education. How does the online program help students leverage these advantages, especially as our students are based all over the country? I know you touched base a little bit about that before, but if you can go a little bit more in depth.
Well, you know, I will say that whenever I am taking cruise or somewhere I am on, whenever I see Miami shirt on, like Elisa, we do this, and everybody just say the same things. And I think that's the way that we connect with our brand. And that's why people are proud of themselves to put their Miami shirt on every time they go. So I will say that anytime you see, you know, I am from alums, and I am, you know, connected to I'm sure everybody will be connected. However, the one that I see from the cohort I was working on, which is one of the Brian's, Dr. Garcia's group, and they had a really great way working together, and they made the group meetings together every month, and they have WhatsApp, and they also gave me little t-shirts with WhatsApp t-shirts and saying that we always have this one all the time. So I think that's the way that you guys are connected with your people. And within the groups, Brian, I believe we had about 30 students within that one. Everybody are connected each other, and they were even having graduation party over here. I think that's the way that you are growing your connections. And something like this one, and Dr. Garcia and Dr. Arjo, they were coming from completely different cohorts, but still they met here. Maybe they will do LinkedIn connections. I think this is the way that we can make the connections with everybody in the world. And don't be shy, because everybody will say here, everybody will getting into it. I'm sure, right? Dr. Arjo and Dr. Garcia?
So let's touch base a little bit about, it's an online program. You know, a lot of us are busy, especially once we're past our master's degree. You know, a lot of us are just working within our field. For a busy professional, and this is for Dr. Khan, for our busy professional, what are the advantages of completing the online program, and how do our faculty make themselves accessible for questions and discussions?
Sure. So the standard kind of course is, right, it's asynchronous, and there's typically a weekly office hour, and that's recorded. But and so there's that, and so there's an opportunity for kind of synchronous engagement, getting helps, connecting with peers. But if you can't make it, it's always recorded, and that becomes available. But beyond that, all faculty typically, building on what Dr. Garcia said, we really do want you all to succeed. And so all of us tend to make ourselves available on an as needed basis. It's kind of like an open office hour. You just shoot, for instance, you send me an email, and then I work at a time that works for you and me both. So it may be like a lunch hour meeting or an evening meeting. I would say most of the meetings that we have with students happen at night. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes people have flexible daytimes, and in which case we'll meet during the day, but if not, it's evening. And that's kind of standard for all of our courses. And our instructors know that everyone, for the most part, are working professionals, and they and so that's part. It's the understanding that our faculty have in terms of arranging time to meet with students and making themselves available.
Okay.
And
for Dr. Alger and Dr. Garcia, just to continue the discussion of being a working adult, how did you handle this program as a working adult? And what are your tips to be successful in this program for any future students?
Dr. Garcia, would you like to begin this time?
Sure, I'll take this one, I guess, to start. Yeah, the flexibility of the program was awesome. Kind of just continuing off what Dr. Khan was saying, you know, there was a luxury of knowing and feeling resting assured that, like, if I wasn't able for some reason to meet to be there for the weekly live session, because most of these courses you'll have at least one weekly session that you get to meet with a professor, have open discussion, and, you know, join with your colleagues. If for some reason there was a conflict of schedule, or if I had something else going on, they would record it and I could go back, backtrack, take notes if needed. You know, it's I know we all are busy working full time. I know for me, I was a single father with 2 kids, and so I was balancing, juggling a lot. But once you get into the swing of things and you kind of get you know, a set routine, it really becomes like just natural. And I think the continuity of the program is nice as well. I feel like I blinked and the program was over in 2.5 years. And like, I'm not just saying that like cliche, but it just, you enjoy the process. And if you just soak in everything that's going on during the course, you take in so much, and you're just all of a sudden 2.5 years later, you're done. And you learn so much. The 7-week model, it's kind of a weird, like, it moves quick, but you get so much out of it. And yeah, you get into the swing of things. You know, you do your readings. I got used to doing my readings every Monday. I look to the discussion board Tuesday, usually respond by Thursday, and then you look ahead to like your weekly assignment by Saturday, and if, you know, need be, Sunday. And it was just a nice, like, steady flow, and you get into the swing of things. And I thought it worked out really nicely, as far as the way the program worked in that sense.
I echo what Dr. Garcia has mentioned. Once you commit, it really becomes a personal commitment. So you begin to carve out specific times to be able to do this, that, or the other. And there's a rhythm, which Dr. Garcia has already mentioned. There will be, so the weeks are always Sunday through Saturday, and you carve out times during your week to do the readings, and then to do those discussion posts, which require responses from peers, and then sometimes a follow-up response. And the great design of the program asks you always to come up with a capstone project, designed to elicit from you something that's close to you, meaning relevant to what you're doing presently, you know, obviously in the context of whatever the lesson is. And it just works beautifully. But yes, the individual will have to carve out that time the way it works for him or her. Now, I would like to cite something that really threw a curveball for me, and I hope we have time. I won't be very long, but it was when COVID started. You know, one of their professors, I just got delayed by 3 weeks. It was already week 6, and my post was for week 3. The heart of this professor, she said, well, why don't you, I'll give you an incomplete, and you finish by a certain date. Well, you know, what I did was, while I was recuperating, I started to keep working at, you know, I did my posts, etc. It was too late for anybody to respond, but it just gave me the impetus to complete the work in time with my cohort members. Now, where's the individual responsibility to that? I knew for this one right here, for Don Alger, that if I had waited for January, because this was like course ending in December, if I waited for January and all of my cohort members were finished, my motivation to complete that course would get much lower. So I forced myself to complete it. So it's a little bit of accountability, and you plan it out. You know, this is what I'm going to do, this X, Y, Z, and it just works out. And you have your professors to consult when you need help. Thank you.
And just to stick with the alumni for a little bit, my question to both of you, can you tell us a bit about what your career path has been since graduation and how this doctorate degree gave you a leg up on your job prospects or job search?
So I could start with that one because I just finished. So I guess I could get into what I'm looking ahead towards. But yeah, I was really excited about the possibilities that this degree unlocked. I feel comfortable now with possibly designing an online learning environment. If I were to go corporate, I feel comfortable designing, trainings for work, the workplace. And then I've been a teacher for 15 years, and I know that this really helped me engage my students. And so what I'm looking to do this upcoming school year is I'm going to be applying to the lead program in Broward County to become an assistant principal. And obviously, I know having the doctor attached to my name is going to make me a lot more marketable. And so I'm looking forward to doing that internship, transitioning my way into administration, to be an assistant principal, possibly a principal. But yeah, I mean, it's opened up a lot of doors as far as I just feel a lot more confident as an educator as well. With different classes that we had maybe like a little mini project due for that class. I did things that were like really interesting to me and I was passionate about. So like the online course, I made an online course of how to make my grandmother's picadillo, which my Cuban grandmother makes some amazing picadillo. And it was like the most amazing and fulfilling project that I was able to share with my grandmother. The informal learning course, I love basketball and I play basketball, and I was very interested in TikTok because all these kids learn off TikTok today. So I made a TikTok page, doing basketball drills, and I actually ran the drills, made the posts, and so it was a really cool experience. But yeah, hope I didn't go too much on a side rant there, but hope that helps.
Perfect. And Dr. Alger?
Yeah, my setting is as you know, university. So I began the program with Miami, and that was 2019. And so from a part-time employee, I was hired as an instructor, and being an instructor has a pay grade. And then as soon as I finished the program, and I'm in the chemistry department, it has the degree, applied learning sciences has little to do with the chemistry department, although my undergraduate was chemistry. I was officially hired as an assistant professor, so that's a title and a position change with a commensurate lift in salary, so that was a good thing. So, and also, I was going to say, I'm beginning to write grants rather with a few colleagues, and I have a feeling, I get the sneaking suspicion that when there's a PhD or an EdD after one's name, now the grant has to be good quality, but I think there's a better chance of getting that grant.
Now, our final question for Dr. Khan, and if Dr. An will also like to put her input in as well. What do you consider to be the greatest strengths of the faculty who teach this online doctorate program? And what separates our program from the others that are out there?
So I think the greatest strengths of the faculty, and it's also a diverse faculty coming from different backgrounds, but it is a shared commitment to wanting students to succeed. We just had a all faculty workshop about a month ago, where we were meeting in different groups and talking about synergies across courses, how we can improve things where there are gaps, and yeah, it was very, very well attended by our faculty. And so so to me, that just reflects everyone's commitment to student success. So that would be the thing common across all faculty who instruct and teach in our program. I think in terms of what makes our program stand out, I mean, there aren't very many applied learning sciences programs. There are programs that support, there are master's programs that focus on maybe learning a technology and design, and we have some overlap there. But in terms of an EdD program that doesn't also have a lengthy dissertation, but instead has an applied group project, I think we're pretty unique. And so, and I think, and right, and we're also not research focused. So we're preparing students really to be successful in their context, in their career transitions, and their career trajectories. And so, and that's a commitment that all of the, like, that intention of the program, that goal of the program, is one that all the faculty understand and know. And so yeah, so I think that's a big strength and distinction for our program, the way it's designed, the commitment to students being able to be successful in these various settings. But from a position of really deeply understanding learning and thinking about learning and learning environments, and how we can how we can improve the design of learning environments and technologies in whatever respective context we're in.
Well, Dr. Khan was talking about the commitment and faculties and expertise, everything. I would say our faculties are great. I can tell because I'm the vice dean and I'm working with everybody. So my faculties are amazing. And the other one I would say is, you guys are colleagues. And, we are working with the colleagues, and we are building our network of colleagues who will be leaders in this whole society, making great move for learning and teaching, and moving into the next phase together. So in that sense, I think we share the commonality that we respect each other as a colleagues, not like student and faculty members. Brian, I guess you might say it later, but I would say that's how we have as a foundation, that we want to be respecting each other, and we are in this field together to move individual and communities together. So in that sense, I think that is our foundation mindsets that we have, and that's the biggest things that we can have it. And then the other one is, it's a you. And it's University of Miami, you can be proud of, and you can also put your this one anytime you see anybody. So that's the biggest niche we have.
Yeah, I would just want to double down on what Dr. Ahn said. I mean, the faculty, and I know from a leadership perspective, we really recognize and value the experience that our students are bringing in, right? So you're all working professionals with tremendous amounts of success and knowledge in your respective fields. And we recognize that, and we want to help you leverage that to be successful and grow our network of colleagues, as Dr. Ahn said. And so that's also, I think, something. I agree 100%. It's a very important foundation for our program, and that we continue, to honor and grow on.
Okay, thank you everybody for answering the questions and giving your feedback. So since we were discussing the program, if Dr. Khan, if you can kind of go over the curriculum, maybe
Sure.
give a little bit of overview with the courses names and what they entail.
Sure. So our curriculum is essentially designed to introduce students to theories or perspectives on learning. We have mini cycles. We have theories, perspectives on learning. Then there's courses on design. So how do you design formal learning environments, online learning environments, informal learning environments, workplace learning? So those are courses on design. And then we have courses on assessment. And those courses on assessment are drawing on research methods, so up-to-date methods that they're used in research fields for assessing and providing evidence of learning. And then all the courses, the program culminates in the capstone project courses. And so what the capstone sequence, it's approximately a series of 3 courses about the timeline, but you'll be preparing for that through the course of the program. But those final courses, you'll be doing your capstone project, which is, again, it's typically a group project that is where you're designing some sort of learning experience or learning environment in someone's context, or typically workplace context, and you're implementing that design and evaluating the design, and then you collectively with your group mates show evidence of what you've done. So that's the overview.
Thank you. So just to touch base on tuition, financial aid, and scholarships, the cost per credit is $2,530. With the tuition waiver and applying before the early admissions deadline, which is July 8th, you will receive a 50% tuition waiver, which will bring the credit down to $1,265. You have the different forms of payment that we accept, which of course, the traditional financial aid, which you would fill out your 2024-2025 FAFSA to see what will be eligible for you. If you need, if you don't want to choose a monthly payment plan, you can choose to apply for the Graduate Plus loan, which will cover the difference. And then discussing, there is a monthly payment plan you can choose to pay the full amount of the program, or you can pay cash in full. Other options are to seek external scholarships and third-party billing, through your employer. If you do choose to use your employer benefits and your employer will be covering your degree, please make sure you let your your online advisor know. That way we can make sure that you are set up properly by the time you meet with financial aid. So the resources and connectivity that you guys will have as UOnline students, you'll be able to meet with, Topo Career Center or use their resources, Launchpad, the online library. There are disability services, Graduate Student Association, and much more. So the requirements to apply, initially you would need to upload with your online application your unofficial transcripts just so that we can make sure you are meeting the requirements. Your most recent resume and a personal statement. The personal statement is typically just a little bit about yourself, why you're looking to do this degree, and what your future goals and aspirations are. You will need 3 letters of recommendation. This can come from a past mentor, a professor, an employer. It cannot come from a family member or a friend or anybody that is near and dear and close to you. You will need to apply for your FAFSA, as we discussed just a few moments ago, and just submit your application. Your online advisor, which could be me or somebody else, will be there to support you every step of the way to ensure you are submitting the correct documents and your application is looking perfect for you to be able to submit it and give the okay. So as I stated, you will be eligible for a 50% tuition waiver as long as you meet the early admissions deadline, which is to apply before Monday, July 8th. You will receive with this, with applying by the early admissions deadline, the $300 deposit fee waiver code, which is for your application, and your 50% tuition waiver. It will all be applied once you submit your application. Again, the early admissions deadline is Monday, July 8th. If for whatever reason you are unable to meet that deadline, the final deadline is August 12th, but you do want to apply as soon as possible to ensure that you are reserving your seat. You can speak again with any of the enrollment advisors. You can call us at the 800-411-2290 number, or you can visit us live chat on uonline.miami.edu. And you can use the QR code below to start your application process, or click the link. Thank you all for joining us this evening. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us. and we'll be more than happy to assist you. I hope you all have a great night.